But if I wake up, if these feeds come back on and I get a Chuck or a Haley HOH, I'm in danger, girl. I'm in danger. I'm gonna be irritated.
This was my worst case scenario. Good day and hello, besties. My name is Shelby Ashley, and welcome to another episode recap for Big Brother 28. This was episode 13. This was the week 4 HOH episode. I am going to be so buck 50 with you. I literally have been so checked out this week. I said in the last video, the worst case scenario for me was Chuck or Haley, and then that's literally what I woke up to, and it just has really put a damper on the whole Big Brother week for me. We'll talk more about it when we get to the end of the episode and talk about some spoilers, but your girl, my heart has not been in this week, but alas, I am recording this on a Tuesday evening, and this was Sunday's episode, so I have had some family in town, so I haven't really been able to do much other than that, but better late than never. And we're going to get right into it because we still have time to talk about this episode, because tomorrow we get the veto episode, and that'll be fun because I like the veto competition they did. But before we get there, everybody, we start this episode with Jason leaving the Big Brother house on a unanimous vote. Now, Kamu says that he thinks that the week went perfect for him. And, just feeling out some other people, Mallory and Barrett are really relieved that Mallory won the blockbuster. Melody is fired the F up because she wants a power shift and she's got beef with Haley. And Drew doesn't think he's on anyone's hit list, so he's feeling pretty good about this week. Little does he know. Womp, womp, womp is what I said in my notes. And then we see Angela talking with Haley and Chuck, and they're just kind of discussing like the HOH competition coming up, and they're kind of saying that they're screwed if they don't win, but they have the numbers either way. And then Angela says to them that if she was HOH, she would be backdooring Drew this week, which kind of plants that seed a little bit in Haley's head. And this is kind of like a bunch of Drew hate all throughout this episode, sprinkled throughout. We get Devins saying that he's not super into Drew. He's feeling like super sketched out about him and thinks that Drew is unreliable. So we get into the competition. We are traveling to September 28, 1888, and Angela asks if this is the Egyptian times. Now, I can't off the top of my head tell you when the Egyptian times were, but I know for a fact it's not 1888. So this is a Jack the Ripper themed competition. I'm not a huge fan of the actual serial killer being used for this, but whatever, like, glorify it all you want, I guess, Big Brother. I'm really not into any of that kind of stuff, so it's a little bit of a turnoff, but whatever, we persist. The house guests are dressed up so cute. I loved the outfits in there. They all look like little old-timey detectives. And they have to go out through the various rooms and kind of study each room. And then they have to pay attention to what is in the rooms. And Jack the Ripper will attack in a room that has a certain item. And they have to pick the room that doesn't have those items so they survive. Devins, we get some DRs, and Devins is saying that he wants to win. Drew says he doesn't want to win, which the number of times that Drew is so comfortable in this episode really just freaking pisses me off. I really wish Drew would wake up, as I've been saying. Ugh. And then Mallory really wants the power shift. So Mallory is hungry for some power. In the first Round, Kamu says that Jack will attack any room with a magnifying glass. They all pick their rooms, and at the end of this round, we get Devins, Angela, Mallory, and Lala are all out because they were all in rooms with magnifying glasses. Round 2 is saying that Jack the Ripper will attack in any room with a clock. So they all pick their rooms, and after this round, Dee, Drew, and Melody are all out. Drew and Melody going on in the same round is rough. And then throughout this competition, Lyric, Yash, and Haley all kind of end up in a room together that they're guessing in. And they all make a deal with each other to not put either of them on the block if any of them wins HOH. And, even in DRs, all three of them are kind of talking about holding this deal up. So, in round 3, it says that he'll attack in any room with a ring of keys, and then Chuck is out at the end of that round. Round 4, he'll attack in any room with the image of a human face. And then after that one, Lyric and Taylor are out, and I think Barrett also gets out in that round. And then in the next round, we have Yash and Haley left, and with the no umbrella in the room, Haley wins. And actually, it kind of felt really anticlimactic whenever Haley did win. Like, there was no change of music, no the like victory music in Big Brother when someone wins a competition. There was none of that, and it was just like almost like ominous music when they were saying that Haley won. So a bit of an editor note. Maybe someone is telling something to us when they can't say anything to us. You know what I mean? We get the iconic DR of Melody saying that she would much rather Jack the Ripper himself be HOH instead of Haley, and Taylor's pretty mad at it too. Dee and Devins are celebrating though. They do the little dance, and Devins mentions, because Haley is part of their big alliance, that he will not have to use the Diamond Power veto this week. So that is good for Devins. I cannot get my legs comfortable today. So we get this fun little editing quip where on the Dee and Devins side of things, they're just literally saying, this is the best case scenario. And then it just cuts to the other side of the house. I'm pretty sure it's Melody that's going on. And she's like, this is the worst case scenario. I really liked that editing. Mallory is super frustrated because their side of the house cannot get any footing, and that is frustrating whenever you clearly see what's happening, but you literally can't do anything about it. For some reason, still thinks he's safe this week, and damn, does he have another thing coming, because come the end of this episode, you will be on the block, sir. Like, I need you to wake up, please. Haley is getting a mean girl edit. She's talking a lot about Taylor making the comment about her snacks, and she talks to Devins about like kind of making a scene, and of course he's all for it. We cut to Taylor, and she is frustrated with Lala. She's saying that she really feels like she's playing a game for two, and she literally has to tell Lala every single thing she has to do. So she gives Lala some advice, and she thinks that information's better coming from Lala than her, and she tells Lala, hey, why don't you go tell Haley about Melody talking mad shit in the room right before the HOH competition. And that's what we saw at the beginning of the episode. And, Melody is, straight up dogging on Haley, saying that she hates her. And you can just tell on Taylor's face that she is just so frustrated. She's really hitched her wagon to Lala, especially when, standing her ground about keeping Lala last week. And yeah, she's dragging this woman with her. She is her ball and chain, unfortunately. But that's Taylor's number. God damn it. And Taylor will make sure of that. So Lala does end up going upstairs to tell Haley this information. Kamu and Angela are both there as well. She starts spewing about Melody and Mallory and all of them talking shit before the HOH competition. And then I wrote Haley talks. So Haley must have been saying something in response. I'm telling you, my heart is not in this week, and it really sucks. I need a power shift. I can't believe we're about to just really enter this scenario where an actual steamroll is actually about to happen. So I need some people to shape up for real. So we go to see Haley's HOH room. You know, anytime someone wins HOH, I bet even if you don't like these people very much, it's still fun to see pictures of their family, to at least like know what music they get, to listen to their letter. I mean, everybody misses home, so I think, you know, everybody can kind of gather something from all the letters. But Haley, you know, just kind of has everybody in the room, and she just says to everybody, you know, she's kind of like playing with her letter and, you know, fiddling with it, and I think she even kind of opens it, but then she just says, like, she's been hearing her name around the house, you know, while everybody's in the room, she's been hearing her name around the house, and if you've been talking shit, you know, don't come up here and eat her snacks and act like you didn't say anything. And just socially, like, kind of an insane thing to do, to be so for real. It's really, just harsh. And why are you not going to read your, like, I understand maybe you want to keep it private, but who is it from? It's from, like, your parent, probably. Like, it's not even, like, a lover. Like, I don't know. I didn't get that very much. But, you know, anti-vaxxers, what are you going to do? Then next we get the segment about the BB time capsule. Now this whole time, before we learn who has the BB time capsule power, I was thoroughly convinced by the internet that Drew got the power. He got the coin of destiny, where I think you can like flip and then anonymously take over someone's HOH. I really thought this man had this coin and did not use it. That was where I was at. And I was like, how are you going to be nominated and not use this coin? I didn't understand. It didn't make sense. But Drew kind of doesn't make sense. So I was just putting the two and two together. Instead, we find out that D has won this time capsule, which I should have fucking known, honestly. I was thinking way too optimistically about, you know, somebody not D getting it. So that's what I get for wishful thinking. That is like the 500th time I've yawned. It is crazy. I'm editing the rest out, but not that one. I've literally yawned a million times. But D does spin in the chair, and she ends up winning a power, and she wins the bribe power, the BB bribe. And with the BB bribe, D has $5,000 that she can use to try to get somebody to do a task that benefits her, that they agree to. And this task has to be like game related, Big Brother game related. And it is good for the remainder of the game. And she does not tell Devins about this. I hid that yawn. She does not tell Devins about this, which I think is a huge deal, actually, because Devins was so forthcoming with her about the information. I think if Devins finds out about this, I don't know, it's just an unnecessary seed of distrust to be sowed when it comes to D and Devins. They really feel like they're a ride or die for each other, but, you know, maybe D isn't as ride or die for Devins as he is for her. So then we get Haley kind of having a couple bits of conversations. She talks to Melody, and Haley basically straight up tells her, like, hey, I heard you were talking shit. I'm not going to say who it's from, but I heard you were talking shit. And Melody kind of just owns up to it, honestly. She tries to play it off a bit, like it wasn't as serious as it sounded, and she does apologize. And then Haley's like, you know, I've had it harder than this game, so that's not nice to hear and all this stuff. And then Melody basically crashes out in the DR saying, like, you've never hit the block. None of your allies have ever hit the block. What do you mean? That's such a bitch thing to say. And I just applause to Melody. Melody, you are winning America's hearts. Please just keep being yourself in the DR. It is so good. Everybody's saying it, but it really is Brittany Haynes' upside. It really is. next we see Barrett talking to Haley, and Haley's like really dogging on him for wanting to keep Mallory last week. And he like low-key defends himself for wanting to keep Mallory, but he also says that he would have voted her out if he had to, because he's with the Alliance. He catches on the way Haley's talking that Haley is kind of looking for a pawn. And Barrett is not for this. He is not okay with being a pawn. He tells her that. And then in the DR, we get Barrett saying that he retires from the Toolshed fan club, and it was a stupid name anyway. So Barrett is kind of a free agent now. Low key, though. I think he is trying to keep up appearances, which you should, you know. But now I feel like if Barrett got into some power, maybe Barrett would do something with it, maybe. I don't know. Barrett's a lot of talk. So, not that they've really had a chance to do anything, but... And then we get a little clip of Drew talking to Haley, and she's telling Drew that, you know, he might have to be a pawn because she's out of options. Then we get to the nomination ceremony. Haley has nominated Melody, Drew, and Taylor for eviction. Haley says she's not here for the drama or games and basically just wishes everybody luck on the veto. Super cold, but also kind of clinical. I don't know. It's very, very no-nonsense kind of nomination speech in a way. She says that Melody, in the DR, she's saying that Melody does nothing for her game. Drew's the pawn, and Taylor leaving would be the least amount of blood on her hands. But Drew says he's going to try to make sure that she gets the most blood on her hands because he thinks that her putting up someone from their alliance was not a good move, and he cannot wait to come after her, and he is going to make her have to put somebody else up whenever he wins the veto. We get Melody saying that she's going to cause drama for Haley when she wins the veto and wins power and puts her up, and Taylor's plan to help Lala kind of backfired on her a little bit. But, you know, all three of them are super gunning for this veto. Now, tomorrow, because I'm a little late cookie to making this little recap episode, but tomorrow is the veto episode for Big Brother 28, a week 4. So I will be here tomorrow after the episode to tell you everything that happened. But if you want to know a little bit what's happening in the house, stick around for a couple more seconds. But if you're not into that, then remember to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below who you think is going to win veto. And yeah, I'll let you know everything that happens tomorrow. But if you want to know right now, I did not write down who got picked for the veto. I do not remember who got picked for the veto, but I can tell you that Taylor won the veto. So that kind of threw a wrench into Haley's plans because Haley really wanted Taylor out for some reason. And so I'm so happy for Taylor to take herself off the block with that. And then Haley starts trying to think of who should be this renom? You know, Lala? No. But you know who's flirting with someone that she wants to be the only one flirting with? Lyric. Now, and Kamu was really pushing for Lyric to not be the renom, and I think that made Haley want her to be the renom even more. So at the veto ceremony, Taylor has taken herself off the block with the veto, and Lyric has been named the renom. Now, currently in the house, like currently at this hour, I don't really know what's going on. It seems like they kind of want to keep Drew. But if you asked me a couple hours ago, then I would say that if Drew is on the block come eviction night, for the final 2 people on the block, Drew will be leaving the house. But when it comes to Lyric versus Melody, that's a little more interesting. Some people are putting up, you know, pretty good arguments to vote Lyric out. Right now, Dee and Devins are throwing around the idea of keeping Drew, and they're even like, oh damn, we started this whole thing, like how do we get it to stop, like how do we get the votes? Devins is kind of like, screw it, I'm gonna be bored anyway, let's just do it. Like, so I really have like absolutely no idea what's gonna happen, but what I do know for Drew is that it's probably do or die Crimini on that Blockbuster competition. So
Drew for Blockbuster a bit, but also I kind of want Drew to learn a lesson because you are so oblivious to everything that's going on right now. And I don't want Melody off my screen, and I really want Lyric's revenge. So I'm freaking screwed no matter what happens. And if I don't get a power shift on Thursday night, I swear to God. For some reason, the house thinks that it's the wall competition. If that's the case, I think whoever stays, all of these underdogs have a great shot. So does D. But you know what? We'll just have to see what happens. And I will be here to tell you everything that does. So don't forget, I'll be here tomorrow, Wednesday, after the episode, to talk all about it in a timely manner this time. Later.